Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I stand to make my contribution on this year's 2018-2019 estimates, Madam Speaker. The theme for the budget presentation spells out words of survival, sustainability, success, resilience. It says God's grace, by God's grace and by our joint efforts, Madam Speaker. And I want to embrace that, but I will put God first. Last year's theme was realizing a modern, prosperous Dominica, Madam Speaker. And I think we all should try and realize a modern, prosperous Dominica at all times when we come to this Parliament to have our estimates approved, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I listened to the presentation of the budget. It brought to mind so many times that the people of this country have been promised about major infrastructure development, and nothing is being delivered. So I'm asking, why are we coming to this house and promising things in a presentation and they are not in the estimate that we are talking about? We must stop misleading the people of this country, and we must deliver, Madam Speaker. On the contrary, when you heard the delivery of the opposition leader, the Honorable Lennox Linton, it was in line with a promise and a set way, a set procedure in getting there, Madam Speaker. It was in line, it was in sync, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, when you look at the time in which we got the material, the time in which we had to respond, the other side was just totally overwhelmed, Madam Speaker. And that is why the people of Dominica have decided to put their further trust in the United Workers' Party being the next government here, Madam Speaker. So, we must stop misleading our people. 18 years have gone, and right now we are putting resilience before sustainability. We have advocated time and time again that sustainability is important. It's important over resilience. Because just being resilient and just calling that cliche all the time, Madam Speaker, has not brought us anywhere. We need to show it. Unfortunately, Madam Speaker, this administration over the past 18 years, they have started some good projects, you know. They have started some good projects and some initiatives, Madam Speaker. And I must tell you that the Honorable Minister for Trade, the Honorable Member for Portsmouth, he was afraid to call Ross University and the Moroccan Hotel, Madam Speaker. Yes. He was scared to go there, Madam Speaker. And he can tell this Honorable House that he has previously mentioned how in past parliaments, how persons were trained for the opening of the Moroccan Hotel, and today not in this. So a good project, no timeline, nothing has materialized as yet. That project may be resilient, you know, but it has not been sustained. It is unsustainable. You must understand that, okay? We have another one. We have the coffee plant right in your constituency. We have the National Abattoir, and lately now, we have the International Airport. We have road infrastructure adding to that. We also have the issue of alternative energy. Madam Speaker, it is a fact that the needle of climate change is on our country. It's on Dominica. Make no doubts about that. So we have to be able to position our people to understand what resilience means. Resilience cannot be a cliche, it cannot be a political thing. It has to be how we do things right now. It has to be we taking money and spending money in a sustainable way, not just for us right now, but for those to come after, and they can feel safe, Madam Speaker. So even at the position in which we are in right now, a slight tropical depression is too much for any community right now, much less for a storm or a hurricane. So God forbid that we get those kind of things, Madam Speaker. So I'm saying that the history has been there on the past weather systems. We need to take heed of that. We need to increase capacity of our disaster management unit, Madam Speaker. What was the impact of Mario on our people, Madam Speaker, and the governance of this country? What areas of rebuilding should receive top priority? Madam Speaker, I honestly feel and find that there is too much involvement in terms of the bureaucracy of government ministers into a certain process. And I'm calling for reform on that quickly. Reform. We need reform so that let's empower village councils. Let us empower our technical officers and let's get them going, because I'm sure that there is work. There is more work that these ministers can find themselves engaged in doing and making sure that things are done properly and the people are served better, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Dominica is blessed with sun, is blessed with water. And you heard the honorable leader of the opposition spoke about all the nice wellness that we can have, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, from the sun we can generate renewable energy. Madam Speaker, from the water, we know that we have a need for water. But after several hurricanes, several storms, we have come to recognize that one of the main issues that our people need is potable water and electricity, Madam Speaker. We once asked some questions in the House past time about the government's plan on water resource management, and all we started hearing from the former Minister of Water, my good friend, the Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, was how many millions spent on water and whatnot, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, water management, we need to position our country in a sustainable way to truly manage water. Have a proper stock of water to last us a certain period of time. Have a system where we can do some rainwater harvesting and we can target special buildings, government buildings, schools, hospitals, health centers, police stations, homes for the elderly, hurricane shelters, other commercial buildings, and many residential buildings, Madam Speaker, that we can retrofit and make sure that they are ready. Because at the end of the hurricane or the heavy rains, we do get rain falling on our roofs. And we can always take that water and use it for, treat it and use it for potable uses, Madam Speaker. We need to show something. Because all that water coming in this bottle, I know that that's a Dominican product, but at the end of the day, we are bringing too much garbage for disposal, and we are not producing any to send back. So I really want to say that let's get involved in these sustainable things with our water, Madam Speaker. It's important, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, in terms of the private residences and the commercial buildings, I think the United Workers' Party will set out a policy in the Town and Country Planning Act where the guidelines for every new construction on the island can have a safely built section called a hurricane bunker. And you are free to buy it. You are free to buy it. It's there. Because it is impossible for us to rely on government as citizens when we hear a storm is coming to run to a shelter and move to a shelter. If we designate one area in a room, because there was boast about how the toilet survived, even the dashing house survived, Madam Speaker. If we can boast of modeling something where we have a kitchen, a bedroom, a toilet, and we give the people the materials, because people are getting materials to do whole buildings. So we can do a section. If this is part of the process, let us make it sustainable, where we can have the bunkers created, the proper windows, the proper doors, so that people can feel safe. We have less movement of people during time of a disaster. And when the emergency alarm goes, people know where they can run. It is better to manage people that way than to have them running around during a time of a disaster, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the philosophy of this government has been, in my opinion, in festering a mindset of dependency, Madam Speaker. It has been done for a long while, and this is why I say that the involvement of the political bureaucracy must cut down, and we need reform. If we cut that down, because right now this has become a plague to us. We have a lot of waste on our finances because of that. Money is going into areas, and we are not getting the result, Madam Speaker. So we are not getting any results out of those monies just going down. And the evidence of those monies going down appear in supplementary estimates, Madam Speaker. Like last year, we had a supplementary estimate in excess of $1.5 million for a short period of time, April to June. Compare that to the supplementary estimate for the same year when the hurricane hit us, Madam Speaker. You have to ask yourself, where are we going as a country, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, the human resource capacity is key in building Dominica to have any sustainable and resilient form. Therefore, we need to engage immediately on the reform of our educational curriculum and syllabus to suit the workforce that is required to meet the rebuilding process, Madam Speaker. That is important. We need to do that. And we need to bring everybody on board. We speak about it, but when persons from the other side shows up to be on board, statements are being made that he is not politically qualified. And we cripple our system, Madam Speaker. Or she is not politically qualified. And look, we just heard, God bless his soul, of Mr. Dermot Southwell, who would serve and you would not know where he was. And we need to embrace more of those, Madam Speaker. We don't need to take out one to break down a democratically organized party as the United Workers' Party. We don't need to do that, okay? We do not need to destroy a party for us to get one across, okay? And that is important.
They destroyed themselves.
That is important. So, Madam Speaker, Dominica needs an economy that can caters to the continuous improvement of people's lives by utilizing technical skills of its human resource. And I'm saying don't care where they're from. We heard the Prime Minister made mention that the head of the creed is going to be a Dominican. And I'm willing to hear that later from the Deputy Prime Minister, who that person is. Madam Speaker, on the matter of all that solar and renewable energy that we've been talking about, and micro hydro, do you know that we were told once that it was against, on this side, it was against the wishes of the country, it would be too expensive to put solar energy or to power the Parliament building or the ministry, Madam Speaker? And I think our same Deputy Prime Minister said that you need a battery the whole size of Roseau, Madam Speaker. But, Madam Speaker, people are so familiar with the size of those gadgets now, and they give a lot of light, and they do a lot of things. Just imagine a solar panel the size of his head. It can give the whole Parliament light, Madam Speaker. Just that, just to show you that people are familiar with that technology. You know, just imagine that. Madam Speaker, the Ministry of Public Works, Communications and Works, Madam Speaker, I mean, right now is the time for us to have them organized, decentralized, and put our country on a path that will show that there is sustainability and there is resilience. Public works has been spread apart. They are not together. We hearing projects are going on. I mean, Madam Speaker, there are still damages that our country suffered from Hurricane Erika. And to list a few of them, we have a lot of road edges which are broken. Along all the roads, in the villages, on the highways, we have underpasses which are compromised. We have areas that need slope protection, Madam Speaker. We also need some better safety, security, and signage on certain roads, Madam Speaker, for both day and night visibility by the road users. We have seen the incidents, the rise in the incidents of vehicular accidents, and you ask yourself, but what happened there? I mean, we have to ask ourselves what happened. We need to put systems in place to really take care of that, because look at our health system, look at the medical care or emergency medical care system cannot afford to deal with these cases, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with a disaster, there can come opportunities for developing industry. And I say it, and I'll say it again, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we need to establish some national mining company, Madam Speaker. With all that aggregate and all that waste, that is all that boulders, we have material from the Lai River, millions and millions of cubic meters, metric tons of material that can be used in the so-called resilient rebuilding process. We can develop concrete products for all these projects.
And export.
We will have more than enough to export, Madam Speaker. We have more than enough to pave our roads into concrete and make them that resilient road we're talking about. When a landslide comes down on an asphalt surface road and you bring one of those mechanical excavators there, we always have a high chance of ripping off that road, damaging that road while we're clearing it. Observe what happens on the concrete roads. They stay because they're resilient. We have all the material for it. We have all of them. They stay. They stay. You know? They stay. They stay. Okay? Madam Speaker, to speak more about that water business, the bulk water, you make a mistake there, you. The development of bulk water storage units, Madam Speaker, is essential. And Madam Speaker, when we have a bulk water system, we can have it massive. Some of the water can be used for irrigation and designated greenhouses, where we can check our food stock and ensure that our food stock is up at a certain time of year, so that when a disaster happens, we can feed ourselves for a period of time. Madam Speaker, this can also be tied in with the infrastructure of micro hydro plants and a water bottling plant, Madam Speaker. Now, Madam Speaker, with all this work that we have right now going on in the country, and we speak about getting the work done, I'm very much concerned about the Procurement Act and the tendering process, Madam Speaker. I am not saying that there may not be selective tendering, but I want to encourage this administration in order to find value and to get the best economic price on tendering. You should go to your local builders and contractors and association and engineers and architects and locally skilled people and offer them that opportunity to tender. I want to say that I have seen quite a lot of foreign contractors here. I myself have welcomed some because I'm a contractor myself. We cannot do all the work ourselves. We cannot do all the work ourselves. We need the outside people, but I want to say that we are able and we should be capable to put our people first, to lead on many of these projects. And I see some red trucks marked Dominica Strong, Madam Speaker. Yes. Dominica Strong. Yes. I need the Minister of Communications and Works to tell this Honorable House all about this company. Where is this company from? Who are the shareholders? and who are the stakeholders in that company. I am very, very concerned about that, because it hurts my heart to see that we have truckers, we have equipment owners, and you know what? New trucks alone drum down. New trucks alone, brand new trucks. I would have liked to see a few of our own truckers bringing new trucks and companies too.
Sustainable and resilience.
So Madam, the list that concerns the procurement contract, it is something that is there for us to be guided by. There are housing projects. There are road construction projects. We heard of more bridge construction, sea defenses, retaining walls. We heard of water systems, hurricane shelters. And Madam Speaker, I really didn't hear much about feeder roads, except for the BAM feeder road projects that we know, which are on a halt. But there are other feeder roads that we need to get to access, and these roads will bring back to the economy of the country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, critically speaking and thinking, what data have we collected after that disaster, and what analysis have we done to it? We've heard of many building assessments done. We've heard of certain areas that are going to be earmarked to erect buildings, Madam Speaker. And data is important in deciding how you analyze things as to what you're going to do when you're doing those large spending, Madam Speaker. Data is very important. And just by deciding to just do things without analyzing data is something that is detrimental to any fiscal spending. So the state of those buildings, Madam Speaker, personal homes, we have to analyze them, because some persons can only cover and rebuild in a certain manner. They cannot do full. Even some persons who have received insurance monies have not received all to make them better. The fact is, there were many persons before the hurricane, their homes were already compromised, say be it rotting and it needed maintenance, and right now. So we have cases where everybody, don't care how rich they were or how poor, they are at the same level where they need some assistance. So how do we bring that assistance to them? We need to bring down the duty on materials across the border, duty-free. Duty-free across the board. So we need it. We need it. So let's bring that down across the border. We need to understand that, Madam Speaker, with the persons that we are going to build the houses for. I mean, what sort of policy that we're going to put in terms of conveyance, in terms of strata title, because, you know, people can get something now and they feel it's theirs if the government doesn't have a good policy as to how that property becomes yours and the holding on it. So I will leave that for you all to think about, but I must mention it, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, where we are now in Dominica, and where we thought we were going last year, and with all the hurricane construction and reconstruction work, I believe we need to look at an integrated development plan for the country. And that integrated national plan, that integrated development national plan is something that the country can look at as a template for development. This will not be a template that any party who wins election can say, well, look, I promised in international airport free times. This time I think, boy, the people want it. I didn't do it on the free time, so I'm going to push it again because the opposition is pushing it, and it looked like they're going to win the election, so let me see how I can catch back the people. You understand? So we want an integrated national plan where we can partake in something that is good for the country. Madam Speaker, seriously, at this juncture, we also need to review Dominica's environmental profile. Our environmental profile, specifically on soils, what has happened to our soil, Madam Speaker? What has happened to our vegetation? The natural hazards that we are exposed to. Like last night, I felt a tremor just after 9, Madam Speaker. Just after 9. Climate change, Madam Speaker. Forests, our wildlife, our freshwater resources, our coastal and marine resources, Madam Speaker. Energy, industry, tourism and transportation, pollution, and public health, Madam Speaker. More so, our physical planning and land use development, and, Madam Speaker, development of a management institutional framework for effectively meeting goals in the Integrated National Development Plan, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we need to do this right now. We need to go and take stock of our environmental profile of our country and decide on things. I'm not satisfied. I'm not against any housing project going on anywhere or being spoken anywhere. Right, Madam Speaker? Oh, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I am not against that, Madam Speaker. But our environmental profile needs to be looked at and studied and recognized where we are, and our process should be going in sync with what we say that we are Nature Isle and we want to promote the first resilient country on earth, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we are well over 10 months after Hurricane Maria, and I'm saying that the needs assessment report that was conducted in all the communities by this government should be brought to this Parliament, Madam Speaker. We need to know where we are. We need to know what are the needs of these people, because we are concerned about taking seriously the livelihood of our people. We are very serious about that, because we need to know which communities are getting back to normalcy at a certain rate, which communities are falling behind, and the reasons. So the monitoring has to be there so we can execute our deliverables very well, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I don't want to send a clear message that there should not be any fear, Madam Speaker, by any political party to have, or any political leader to run and do Belmarché in Maho or Grand Fort or the other places, talking about apartments or doing anything, Madam Speaker. There is no need to do that. If the needs assessment says it, then the study will guide us, and we can all accept it as a community, Madam Speaker. Thank you. That's my contribution, Madam Speaker.